Susan with Susan Lazar Hart. That's me, the place to be every Sunday for all your questions. So we'll just wait for the algorithms to kick in. It's a big one. I know I say that every time. But this one, it just, what pops for me when I'm listening to my clients and I'm listening to you. And thank you all for writing me, whether private messaging me or on Facebook. Hey, pretty. I really, really appreciate it. And when I write you and say, hey, how's it going? Do you have any ideas of what you'd like to talk about on Ask Susan? Reply to me. I love it when you do. And it tells me where you're at and the language that you need to hear and the tools that you require to create the life that you love. So, hey, Rosanna, welcome, welcome. Yay, hope all is well with me. Absolutely. It's a big, 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 big energy out there. How are you going to play with all the energies that are out there? There's not just one. Hey, Janet. Hey, Rosanna. Right? That's important to remember. There's not, it's about going beyond. It's not about buying into. Right? And that's all the time. From the moment you were born. Right? What did you buy into about fear, about safety, about being well, about being safe? That actually has nothing to do with who you be, what you be, and how you be, right? It's about being present with what's required now, right? And you know what's required now, right? I mean, really, how many people needed somebody to tell them to wash their hands? You're supposed to be doing that, right? From the moment you learn how to use the toilet and before. So, that's not what this conversation is about. What this conversation is about is, are you a Lone Ranger or a Long Ranger, right? Yeah. So, let's just wait a few seconds. Preeti says, fear for the financial crisis. Well, it's an interesting point of view, Preeti, and we're not going to be talking about that today as much as we're going to be talking about, are you a Lone Ranger who lives with fear? Right? Who thinks they have to solve everything by themselves? Or are you a Long Ranger? One who says, okay, how can I use all of this time that I have? Time isn't real, but let's pretend it is. How can I use all of this to my advantage? What's required here? What's required for me to up level, to shift, right? With my future. Yeah. Hey, Brenda. So let me know if that assists you, Preeti. So a Lone Ranger is one that decides that they have to go out and solve everything by themselves, that they have to hunker down and figure everything out for themselves. Hey, Rebecca. Right. A Lone Ranger is one that rides off into the sunset all by themselves to solve a problem and then comes back. Anita says, I'm a Lone Ranger. Then comes back and then with the same mindset attacks the next problem and the next problem and the next problem. And it's like watching reset, right? Only there's nothing being reset. What you're doing is you're saying or more like Groundhog Day. And you wonder why nothing changes. Thank you, Anita. So all of you who are Lone Rangers, come on in here. And if you know a Lone Ranger, tag them and say, you better get in here because this is how we're going to shift and change things, right? So a Lone Ranger is one that says, oh, I can figure this out. And when it doesn't work, they judge themselves. Right? A Lone Ranger is one that has decided that they're the ones to solve the problems. Hey, Brenda. Right? That it's my job to solve the problems. Well, you're actually limiting a huge amount of energies that are here to contribute to you. If you're willing to listen. If you're willing to listen to the whispers of awareness. If you're willing to listen. Right? A Long Ranger is one which is what I encourage my clients to be, one who can look at everything, take an aerial view of what's going on and what's the priority today, right? And what's my priority? How do I want to see myself 6 months from now? Too many people right now with the self-isolation are saying, wow, I'm binging on Netflix. I'm watching this again and again. I'm actually self-educating. Right? I'm listening and looking for what is going to create the greatest amount of possibilities for me, and I'm preparing so that as things shift and change, I'm going to be right out there on the cutting edge and being able to actually be with you all for what you require, right? So the Long Ranger is one that is able to look at things 6 months from now, a year from now, So for myself, it's about asking, so body, tell me what you require right now, right? Business, what do you require right now? I had somebody who used to walk my dog when I was traveling a lot, and I just called them up and said, hey, do you know that there's a lot of people at home now who are looking for somebody to get their groceries for them, get their drugstore stuff for them, who actually can't leave their homes. Here's a new business for you, right? Here to the cutting edge, Janet says, yay. Hey, Marcy. So it's more about, are you willing to pivot and shift and play with what will bring you what you're actually asking for? That's a long ranger, and a long ranger reaches out, right? So another example is today I came down to the kitchen and I'm just kind of emptying the dishwasher, making coffee, doing my do, and I turn on the radio to the exact thing that I required to listen to. It's like, oh, cool. Somebody who wrote a specific book with specific information, giving me a sense of, oh, this is how I can shift with the book that I'm writing, Fearless Every Day. Cool, right? Hey, Lulu. So a long ranger is one that's willing to reach out to all the resources, and ask, so does listening to this add to my life, my living, my future? So if you're doing the 20 hours of Netflix, cool, nothing wrong with that. Hey, power to you. Is it adding to your life, your living, your self-education, and your business? Right? That's my question for you. Adrian, I wonder what is stopping from pivoting to be a long ranger. Cool. Oh, that's Anita. Thank you, Anita. It's buying into this reality. Like you see all these people in the grocery stores and hoarding up on toilet paper and all kinds of stuff. They're not looking at the long range. They're not looking at consciousness. They're not willing to be conscious that there's more, right? So if you're hoarding your ideas, if you're hoarding your life, right, that's a lone ranger, right? A long ranger is one that's actually willing to say, hey, Yignish, hi. A long ranger is one that's willing to say, going through my cupboards, letting go of what doesn't work for me, giving it away to somebody else, going through my office, clearing out what actually doesn't assist me for where I am going in the future. I just signed up for an amazing program to be a TEDx speaker, right? It's like, cool. How could I use this time to my advantage? So that, will I be a TEDx speaker? Doesn't matter. Right? But I got a hit that this is going to actually give me more information on how I can get out there in the world to best serve my clients and to best be what I'm asking to be. Someone who gets out there and talks about being fearless. Somebody who's living in the question, how do I get that out there? And I wonder what that could look like. So Anita, let me know if this assists you, and for all of you, about how to be a long ranger. It's really about going out 6 months from now, looking at where you'd like to be, getting a sense of it, how you can start to shift and change now, right? Again, the story I just told you about the dog walker. His income is going to shift and change. So here's some information. What about offering your services as somebody that picks up food for people who can't leave their homes right now, right? There is always a demand for who you be, what you be, and how you be. It's about not giving you up. It's about pivoting and shifting to what the world is going to need, is requiring now. And what could that look like for you? So, as this is not a dialogue or a monologue, it's a conversation, hop on in, right? There's been lots and lots of topics that have been sent to me. I will be doing this special Ask Susan Thursday Live because I want to keep you all in the, communicating, right? It's too easy to hide behind what's going on. I'm here for you. I want you to know that. And the topics you've been sending me are awesome. It's about body magic. It's about money magic. There's been so many things that have been opened up with the special Ask Susan Thursday Live. So I want to keep that going. If that works for you, it works for me. Yeah. No need to be in your homes saying, there's nobody out there. I'm here. I'm here for you. Yeah. Anita, thank you. I shift from lone and long ranger and back. So Anita, are you saying you shift back and forth? Let me know. Hey, Claudette, welcome. Anita, let me know. I shift from lone and long ranger and back. It didn't, there's a little bit of, Lulu, hey, pivot and shift. Yes, absolutely. Here's the deal. So I'm going to kind of pop in where I'm going to pop in with what my clients have come to me with, okay? That they expand and contract, expand and contract. So here's the deal. What's the value of distracting yourself from where you want to go, who you're asking to be now and in the future, right? Anita says yes, that's it. Claudette says, I'm going back to drawing, having fun. Awesome. So what that is we're raised for a very long time, 6 or 7 years. It is a very long time in which we are entrained to a specific way of thinking. It could be fear-based. It could be judgment-based, which is fear. It could be people telling you that you don't know, that you can't do that, whatever that is for you. And you build that as your substructure, right? You build that as your go-to. You go to try something and somebody says, oh, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? You go to buy something and they're like, you're wasting your money. You go to taste a food and you're told, oh, you don't eat sugar before dinner. Whatever that was for you. So as funny as it seems, it's very strong. So you buy that as real and true. And then you bring it into your, let's call it adult life. When you go to shift, when you go to expand, right? When you go to up level, whatever word you want, or pivot, whatever word you want to use, and it's not working out the way you decided it is, what do? We go right back to that in training we had when we were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that making sense for people? Let me see a little thumbs up and, are you with me? Yeah? So that when we say, oh, I go from Lone Ranger to Long Ranger to Lone Ranger, when you swing back to Lone Ranger, right? That's when you're going right back to 3, 4, 5, 6. So you could ask some questions. Oh, who am I being? Right? Is this working for me? Yes or no? And what's the value of holding on to that, whatever that is for you? Carol says, yes. Points of views. Anita says, absolutely. Interesting point of view. I have that point of view. Is it working for me? No. Yes, pictures of others as my reality, says Anita. Claudette, yeah. So, hey, Rosanna says, hi. So we have the capacity to choose. Judgment-based, aka fear. Lily says, yeah. We have the capacity to choose. Right? Janet says, I love the questions. That's my whole gig, man. It's about living in the question, being the question. Hi, Rozio. So if something isn't working for you, there's a pendulum to everything, right? We go out, I'm gonna. And then all of a sudden you're like, I just spent 3 hours on Facebook going zing, 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 zing. Okay, not a problem. Don't judge yourself. Ask yourself, what's underneath that? You can't do it. Could be you'll never do it. Could be whatever that is. Go underneath that. And then ask, hey, Christina, who does that belong to? Right? Is that really who I see myself as being a year from now? 6 months from now? Right? Oh, raising your hand. Rosanna, do you have a question? Go for it. And let me know if this is making sense for everyone. Because it's very important to get. You can move out of being a Lone Ranger to a Long Ranger. It's about what are my priorities? What are my energetic priorities? What are my priorities? Right? Is it rent? Is it food? Is it how do we create beyond that? It's by getting a sense of who you be and what you be and the brilliance of you. Rosanna, did you have a question? Let me know. Okay, anybody else? Let me know any takeaways from this. How's this fitting in what you're asking for? Janet, yes, brilliant sense. Thank you. Thanks, Janet. Yeah. Because it's huge. I found myself just kind of flicking through Facebook, and I'm like, really? And this morning I was like, you know what, Susan? And I write it down, right? This is what I'd like to see moving, right? And I have my priorities. I had this book I got the other day, and it was all about a different way of being with my clients. And I was like, this is interesting. Let's see what this point of view is. And it was sitting there. And yesterday I said to myself, you owe me an hour every day reading this book. An hour every day. The book will be done in 3 days, 4 days. It's a little book, right? So what kind of commitment are you willing to make to you, to your future, to who you be and what you be? Can you tell I'm just a little jazzed and excited about this? Yeah. Roseanne just wanted you to know that this is resonating. Awesome, Roseanne. I love that. Thank you. Anita, I wonder what is the value of not being visible. There is no value, right? And as the magical being you truly be, you can choose to be invisible. It's a choice, right? So thank you, Anita, how many of you were raised in a family in which nobody saw you, nobody heard you, right? And all you're doing now as this adult is waiting to be validated. Ouch. So everything that brings up. Whoa, clearly a fair amount of you. So everything that brings up, everything that you've decided, well, I can only shift and change. I can only pivot if somebody validates my pivoting. Would you be willing to give that up? Start acknowledging with gratitude what you are doing, right? When I walk the dog in the morning, I run, and I've talked about this with you before. I acknowledge, I receive, and I am grateful for what I came here to be and do, who I truly be, and what I am doing, right? And that's like in this 10 seconds. I'm talking with the earth. In this 10 seconds, I'm throwing stuff out. In this 10 seconds, whatever that is, it's gratitude that creates, right? Gratitude is a long ranger. There's lots of gratitude. There's reaching out for resources or for a team that you work with, whatever that is for you. A lone ranger, there's no gratitude for anything else except for the immediate, oh, I did this. Okay, now what do I have to do? Okay, I did this, and now what do I have to do, right? And you go back to the same mentality rather than saying, oh, like all of a sudden the other week I asked my VA, could you pop these in at about 15 minutes before, please, on Facebook? I've been doing it and kind of rushing around. How does it get any better than that, right? It's a willingness to ask, what do I require? Who can assist me? And go for it. I mean, that's what I do with my clients as a coach, right? The first thing we do, and those of you who have worked with me a lot, is I go right out there and I ask you, what is it that you require 6 months from now, 3 months from now? And let's chunk it down. What's your energetic priorities? What's a false priority, right? Finding out what everybody's saying on Facebook is a false priority. Because you can ask the question, did this add to my life and living? Maybe it did. Maybe you needed to space out. Cool, right? But for myself, it was like, nope, put down the phone. You owe me an hour with this book. And the book actually has been changing and shifting who I be, what I be, and where I'm coming from. So how does it get any better than that? Ingrid, yes, more committed to myself and believing in myself. Awesome. I'm just going to go back here. Janet, love the ability to be pivoting. Yes, in 10-second increments of what is requested. Anita says, thank you. Christine says, yes. Came in late. And I'm here because of all the news and social media blaring negativity. It sometimes alters our mindset to something not so good. You're bringing me back to reality and reminding us of the tools we have available. Thank you, Christine. You got it, baby. That's it. Here's the deal, right? We have these tools, right? Shut off the ongoing news. Right? It's not going to really change between, let's say, like I come downstairs and I put CBC on. And as long as I am space, it's like, oh, that's interesting. As soon as I buy anything that's true and real, that closes my space, it doesn't actually close because I have choice. I shut it off. Put on some music, right? Listen to podcasts. If you're the kind of person that likes to have something going, there's so many podcasts right now that have really good information on generating beyond. Go to Ask Susan TV. We have the last, since 2018. So we have 18, 19. We have the last 2 years of all the Ask Susans there for you. Pick one, right? Let me know what pops for you. Like it, share it. Right? There's so many different ways we can get out there in our communities and up with people, right? Not by, right? Especially the information that's coming in. Where's it coming from? Like, how slanted is some of this information? Just my interesting point of view. Hold on a second. Janet says, what's the name of the book? What are you reading? Susan says, Brenda. Claudette, really back to Lone Ranger. Thank you. When I decided to take my retreat and went back inside of me, meditating, drawing, and listening. Yet because I'm over 75 and seeing my kids stopping by and saying hello through the window front door was a shock that was again a question. Never thought I would live this. So reading and drawing and writing a big help. Absolutely. And as a Lone Ranger, you're one that actually has no gratitude for those kids coming by. So are you really a Lone Ranger or are you a Long Ranger, right? Hey, Sandy, welcome. Let me know if this assists you. Good morning, Sandy. I am reading actually about 3 or 4 books at the same time. I'm just looking around. One is the one it's too bad I don't have them with me. Sorry. One I'm reading, there's this one here called All the Light We Cannot See. It's very interesting. It's a book of fiction, maybe. And it's about somebody who loses their sight and how they actually create with their lives during World War II. I always read, one and one. There's The Untethered Soul. I keep reading it and reading it and rereading it. There's always something in there. And I love it. I just opened it up and it tell me where to read. Lingo is another one that I'm reading. It's really interesting about coaching and talking to the language of what your people can hear. There's another one I'm reading. I'm just looking. There's this one. Oops, sorry. Dr. Joe Dispenza. Always love a little Dr. Joe on the side. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I've also read his Supernatural. I read a little Rumi, Rumi, every day. I'm not, it's about self-education and reaching and growing. Before the coronavirus, after the coronavirus, don't stop being you, right? What is it that like Claudette is painting, what is it that delights you, right? What is it that turns you on? Now's the time. And as everybody is connecting through the internet, what is it that you're asking to shift and change, right? I just opened up spaces in my laser coaching, 12 months of unlimited laser coaching. If you're only interested in 6 months, contact me. Right? I'm opening it up because I'm aware that people are living as Lone Rangers, and I want to encourage you to be a Long Ranger. How can we shift and change your business just by you being home and working? And contact me if you're interested. The shifts and changes in people's lives have been amazing, and it's really about focus and creation. That's it. And being in the question. Rozio, thank you. What I had to hear. I love you, Rozio. Thank you. Oh, I got lots of thumbs up. I'm asking for everything I can create from home. I'm aware I do receive the awareness and get distracted on Facebook, and sometimes I don't take action. How does it get any better than that? Thank you. You're welcome. Janet says she's playing the piano, started drawing, making something in the blog later. Nan bread. Oh, cool. Yay, yay, yay. That's it. It's about, what if this is what was required for us to up-level who we be and how we be and appreciate with gratitude all of our special sauce, right? What could that look like for you, right? What is it? Whether it's whatever that is for you. So now's the time to be in presence with you and to be present with you and ask yourself, does what I'm creating add to my life and living? Baking, cooking, painting, creation. Cool. right? I'm not asking you to go out and build the Taj Mahal. And if that's cool for you, go for it. Right? For me, it's really about, oh, thank you, universe. I'm taking an aerial view of how I'm creating, letting go of what isn't working. I've always been doing that, and this is my chance to share that information with you about how I work, what I read, how I live my day. Right? I out walk my dog once or twice a day. Ricky takes the evening shift. I'm looking at what foods we have and how I can move those around. Ricky and I are whatever that word is. We were in Costa Rica, and it's about really being in my office and asking my office to contribute to me in ways that I haven't been aware of. It's about being in the question, right? And self-educate. I dance from my kitchen. Rotzia says, yeah, baby, do some dancing. Any other questions on the Lone Ranger, Long Ranger? And for those of you who are listening later, press hashtag replay. I always come in and check. For those of you who are listening later, let me know your takeaways, right? Sandy, Lingo by Jeffrey Shaw. Thank you, Sandy. Yeah, awesome book. Really love it. Again, it's about, I just be with a book and I ask, oh, if I choose you, will you add to my life, to my living? Is there something here that would add to my business? Is there something here that would open up where I've contracted? Because we don't know all the different places we've contracted. Again, we had really good contraction training from the ages of 1 to 6. So that's where when I ask you to look underneath, if you find you're in a negative zone, or if you find you're judging you, if you find you've given up, look underneath that energy and ask, where did I buy this from? Right? And it's not about having to figure it out. It's more like, who does that belong to? Was that me? Or, oh crap, that was my mom, or that was my aunt, or that was my grandmother. Right? When I work with coaches, sometimes with clients, sometimes with laser coaching, sometimes I end up channeling. And it's like, oh, your grandmother needs to talk to you. Do you mind if we do this? Right? Information comes from everywhere. That's the energies of who we be. Hey, Kaja. Nice to see you. Hi, Elaine. Listening to lots of Bob Proctor, helping keep my vibes up. Cool, cool, cool. Anita, thank you so much. Can you talk a bit about prioritizing energy? Energy is, right? So, cool. Just checking. Thank you so much. So, energy is, right? A Lone Ranger is one that goes out without even acknowledging the energetic contributions that are there. Right? A Long Ranger is one that's willing to play with their priorities. So there's energetic priorities, right? Again, from the age of 1 to 6, your energetic priorities were to be good, to survive, right? So you aligned yourself with other people's points of views in order to get fed, in order to get housed, in order not to get hit, whatever that was for you, in order to get validated. You were taught you had to be validated. So that's an energetic priority. Now that you're at the age of whatever you are, you could ask yourself, is that a false priority? Right? Wow. Listening to the news every day, is that a false priority? Energy is, right? Hey, Svetlana. So it's not about energy is, it's more about asking, so what would create the greatest amount of possibilities here, right? The energetic priorities that I play with have to do with my foundation. My foundation have to do with curiosity, humor, sensualness in everything I be and do, what I touch, what I eat, the clothes I put on. Having that conversation, it's important for me to have that conversation with everything I touch and do. What will this create? Will this create more in my life? Is this adding to who I be? Is this creating with my future? Those are my questions. So those all, Anita says, okay, great, thank you. Those all create the energetic. I know that's my energetic priority. So I send that energy out. Like today I was talking with the earth when I was out walking the dog. Somebody asked me for our special Thursdays, can you talk about magic with bodies? And I was just playing with it. And I was like, oh, what information do I have for people? And it just came in. I said, oh yeah, this is what I do every day. Because it's a priority of mine to play with energy, right? Yeah. Again, let me know, are we in the right wheelhouse here? This is going a little extra long. I love the questions coming in. Again, if you want to dive deep, I'm opening up the 12 months of laser coaching. If you're only interested in 6 months of laser coaching, call me, right? Private message me, or Susan at susanlazarhart.com, right? It's like, I know that this is, hey Barrett, I know this is a time where people actually require that extra support, to know that somebody has their back, and how can we shift and change to create what you're asking to create on the planet, with your life, with your body, right? Yeah. Sandy, what question would you ask for more awareness to show up? I love that, Sandy. Be aware of the question that you're asking, right? So are you asking for clarity? Are you asking for awareness? Are you asking for information? Right? Some people, and thank you, Sandy, some people are asking for awareness when all they want is information and validation. Some people are asking for an awareness because they want an answer. Some people ask for awareness because they want to do something with it, right? Some people, hey Catherine, are asking for awareness, but they're really asking for clarity. So I be that energy, right? It's a way of being. You could ask, what energy, space, and consciousness can my body and I be to perceive, know, be, and receive all of our capacities today? Now, be aware. Maybe you have a capacity to be a real shit. Maybe you have a capacity to lie. Maybe you have a capacity to be magic. Whatever that is. And that's why I say, what are you asking for awareness with, right? And are you... Because a lot of people have an expectation that awareness is all hearts and flowers and rainbows. Awareness is, right? You can be aware of everything that's going on in the world. Are you buying it as true and real? Have you decided you have to heal the world? And he goes, wow, right? That's the Lone Ranger, right? They get the awareness and they say, oh, now I have to do something with it, right? I'm always asking and being the question. And gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. When you have an awareness, gratitude for that, right? Like the awareness when I came downstairs and it was 5 minutes before 8 o'clock. So there was 5 minutes left of this show that I like to listen to. And it was exactly the information I required. So it's about being, listening to the whispers of awareness. Sandy, let me know if that assists you and for everybody else. Did I just confuse you, or? It's about listening to the whispers of awareness, following that whisper, right? You don't have to do anything with it. It's more like, oh, cool. Yeah. Anita, how can we distinguish between awareness and clarity? Awareness is clarity. I tricked you. If you're willing to listen, there's a clarity there. If you decide that, Sandy says, yes, Renata gets a big heart, thank you. If you decide you have to do something with that awareness, right? There is no clarity there. That's a decision or a choice that you're making based on what the information that you've received. I get it's more clarity. Yeah. Marcy says, Lulu, real aerial view surprise. I took a point of view or attitude changing snowshoe hike on icy lake, and friend of a friend showed up out of nowhere offering me a ride. 2-seater seaplane surprise all around my beautiful location. How does it get any better than that? You got it, baby. Right? It's more like, I wonder what this could create. I'm going to go with this with no point of view. How does it get any better than that? Yum. I love it. Absolutely. Yep. Mary Lester of Awareness and Whispers. Yes. Clarity of awareness and whispers. And if it's not clear, it's okay. Right? I'll often get an awareness about something. And it's like this TEDx talk, the training for TEDx talk. And I was like, okay, so what does April look like for me? What does it feel like for me? What's the sense do I have in April? Well, I have some commitments to myself of what how I want to create in a different way. And that requires a certain amount of writing. And I'm like, oh, does that feel light or heavy? Okay, cool. Now what else is possible? If I gift myself, if I commit to myself in April, this program starts in May. Yeah, that feels light, right? So the clarity I got was from being in the question and asking questions asking of my business, asking of me, right? And what I got was, it's not about the TED Talk, it's about the clarity that actually hunkering down and doing that writing will give me and gift me with my book, Fearless Every Day, right? And I have been talking for years, going on motivational talks about being fearless every day and being a fearless leader. And it's like, wow, what if now was the time? Woo! Get the energy there? Yeah, where people are asking for this information. So it's more like, the clarity I got was like, go for it. I got a yes, go for it. And I'm not looking for what that will create. I have a knowing that it's going to shift and change where I'm coming from and how I can reach more people in a totally different way. So, hey, Patricia. Ingrid says, yes, listen to your awareness and sometimes taking action on that. Thanks. Yep. Janet, do it. Yay. Teresa's watching. Marcy, yes. Cool. So let me know if that assists you all. Hey, Lisa Martin Curry. Again, if you're just coming on in now, hey, Paolo. It's about, are you a Lone Ranger? And we've talked about that. So if you're just coming in, have a re-listen, or a Long Ranger. Marcy says, thank you so much, Marcy. Thank you all for popping in. Hey, Lisa. It's really important to ask yourself, when you feel that pendulum swing back to, I have to do it all myself, I have fears, I this, I that, to be present, and in order to bring that pendulum right back to being present, to being, in the center of your life and your living, ask these questions, right, that we've talked about. Does this create greater or lesser in my life and living, right? Does this add to my life and living? Maybe it does, right? Like, I have a friend of mine who's just done a lot of energetic body work, and she said, I'm having just a chill day. Awesome. There's no judgment there. It's about being present, with what would create the greatest amount of possibilities. And again, if you're interested, I'm opening up the 12 months of laser coaching. If you only want to play with me for 6 months, let me know. Right? Susan at SusanLazarHart.com. Everything is possible. And know that I have your back. And we've had great shifts and changes with the people that we've been working with. Me, myself, and I, all three of me. In terms of focus, in terms of creation. And thank you. And if any of you are on this call and have worked with me, just write it in how that was for you. I always love the feedback. Lisa, yes, being present, that's what I'm working on daily. Absolutely. And here's the deal. What if being present is innately who you be and what you be, and no work is required? I'll leave you with that one. Sandy says, I love that laser coaching. Absolutely. Thank you, Sandy. All right. I will see you on Thursday. We're going to be talking about some of the many questions that you have personally written to me, and probably magic with bodies, a little bit more about magic. We tend to love that one. And I'm so grateful for all of you. And he says, thank you. Lulu says, hashtag Long Ranger. Yay, a fine way of being. Lisa, Susan is awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. She has helped me in many issues. I adore you all. Live boldly, love greatly, and be that fearless leader you came here to be. Fearless leader, not fearful, fearless. A fearless leader is one who's willing to be in their knowing, knows when to stop the madness, be present, and ask the questions that I've been asking you to be, right? What would create the greatest amount of possibilities today? I wonder. I adore you all. I will see some of you Thursday, some of you on Sunday. And if you have any topics, just come on in with them. And please, I look forward to your feedback. Always. I love the hearts. I love you all. Have an amazing day, evening, or morning, depending on where you are in the world. Bye-bye.